Okay, so who is he? We know he's gay, he's married, he's a church-going Episcopalian, a Rhodes Scholar, Navy veteran, Harvard grad. Also, he plays the piano. Turns out, a little like Robert Francis O'Rourke, he's also a bit of a poet. He was student president at Harvard's Institute of Politics, and as a board member of the Harvard College Democrats, he protested the war in Iraq. One of his articles for the Harvard Crimson, he wrote these stirring lines in his poem about George W. Bush. The blue blood's in me through and through, and not just 'cause of Yale. It's Kennebunkport, Harvard, Andover, and now there's my tale. Well, think again, since now you know the shades of my true colors. You know that I ignore the Tennants, Powells, and even the Mullers. Instead, I heed the dicta of the most extremist right. I kept them quiet in the race, but now I fight their fight. Ladies and gentlemen, the poetry of Pete Buttigieg. One of the biggest criticisms he's received, beside his total lack of experience, is that he's too well decorated with accomplishments and awards. The New Republic was quick to label him a genius. A month earlier, the same writer at the New Republic wrote an article praising Buttigieg's grand talk and small successes, which, according to the writer, is not an insult. I don't know how. The New York Times went straight for the throat, describing him as internet-y smart, with an intelligence reduced down to a collection of references and images. And his unassuming face now seems to be everywhere. The Blitz has felt less like a presidential campaign and more like a liberal arts variety show. Or this insult. The Mayor Pete bubble should serve as a portent of what might happen if we strip away every objective measure of merit, however problematic or biased, in favor of how someone's idiosyncratic talents make us feel. The liberal Jacobin magazine also ran this article about his smartness. The headline read, "Have you heard? Pete Buttigieg is really smart." The writer argues this notion of smart allows elites to recast inequality as meritocracy. In this narrative, you're rich because you did well in high school and you went to Princeton, not because capitalism has taken something from someone else and given it to you. Whew. This criticism of Buttigieg is fairly common. Leftists playing identity politics by accusing Buttigieg of not being leftist enough. But do I need to go over what he was for? He wants people to see him as a moderate, the mayor of a Midwest city in a red state, and now a former Mayor Pete, as he bills himself. He's the presidential candidate with the most military experience since George W. Bush. And maybe he began serving the U.S. Naval Reserve in 2009 and was deployed to Afghanistan. But in reality, he was a pencil pusher, and that's fine. We need pencil pushers. But, it doesn't make him a war hero. He did drive his commander from the airbase to Kabul a couple of times. So he did do that. But all service to our country is great service. As a result of his experience in the Navy, he has advocated for mandatory military and public service, another really bad idea. His fellow leftists don't like it that Wall Street has been admiring him. They also have a problem with the fact that he worked for McKinsey & Company, a consulting firm, a company with ties to the Saudi Arabians and Chinese government. They even have consulted them on some of their less than savory projects. But the knives really came out when his fellow elites accused him of not being gay enough. Now, I don't even know what that means. I think if you're sleeping with a man and you're a man, you're gay. And I don't know the degree there. I think it's all in or nothing. A journalist from Slate wrote, is Buttigieg the run-of-the-mill white male candidate, or does his sexuality set him apart? The mammoth question can be broken down into smaller ones that get at why diversity matters. Concluding that, quote, in a primary for the overwhelmingly pro-gay Democratic Party, Buttigieg can be more accurately lumped in with his white male peers than anyone else. As is the norm in media these days, the Marxist language pops up a lot in critical articles about Buttigieg, but make no mistakes, he's a fan of Marxism. A lot of journalists seem to think that as well-educated white gay men, he represents a privileged class, the patriarchy. They use a lot of blatantly Marxist terminology in a disparaging way. Here's an old Persian saying. It says, he's eaten so many snakes that he's become a viper. Mayor Pete wants you to think that he's just a cherub face that is just like you. And he's going for the middle, even though he is not a moderate candidate in any way. But one thing is for sure, the knives are coming out for him now. They haven't come out for him before because he really didn't have to take him down. But now that he has placed 1 and 2 in Iowa and New Hampshire, I can, if you're really quiet, you can hear. Can you hear the buzz around the phones? Can you hear the searches being made by Democrats who are looking for dirt on Pete Buttigieg? Wow. I wonder if they'll get maybe a dossier from Steele this time.